hopefully it works. And if there's something that pops up in the chat, either just read it to me or just be like, hey, Miss D, go check out the chat, and I'll pause the recording and go check it out. Sound good? Thanks. You can just give me a thumbs up. I see you. Okay, so as you guys are looking at the screen, if you want to take a quick picture, this is going to be the beginning of our composition books. If you don't know how to set up your composition book, we can talk through that a little bit later. Technically, we'll be doing it in more detail on Thursday, but for those of you that know what you're doing, you can go ahead and get that ready to go. And so after that, if you want to take another picture, this is technically the first page of notes. Underneath introduction and review for forevers, there are a couple forever cards that are technically pre-cal content, and this is one of them. So it's really from your summer packet, in that it's like trig identities, which is not on the quiz today, and the unit circle. The unit circle is on the quiz today. Now, the unit circle, I know, you can't even really see it up here, but you see the idea of it. And so if you have your multicolored cards, my advice is only if there's dead time in class. Otherwise, you do it on your own time. But this is going to be your forever card number 1, in that this is going to be trig identities on one half, unit circle on the other half with radians, not degrees. Degrees are not in calculus, only radians. With radian angles and then the coordinate pairs. Now, some of you just need the first quadrant and you know the rest of it. So maybe you have, or some of you like the cheater chart or some other way. I just need some representation of the unit circle to where you look at it and you know the whole thing, so that you could, in theory, be studying it. Let me go ahead and go get my own set of forever cards, because some of you, I just said that and you're like, ooh, I'm going to start making them today. Hold on. Okay, with your forever cards, I'm going to go ahead and make myself big. It's going to be weird. Oh, you can see me. Okay, if you notice, Hannah Tangaya, she graduated a couple years ago. Hannah Tangaya, this is how she did her forever card. She put the titles on one side. Maybe it's a little hard to see. Trig identities and unit circle. She had a title on one side, and then she did the information on the other. Now, this isn't the greatest way. I would have rather her done trig identities on one half, unit circle on the other half, like I showed in the notes. But why would she do this? Why would she do the titles on one side and the content on the other? So that she can study. The next one is going to be basic graphs. We'll go over this more on Thursday. But that's going to be like sines and cosines and exponentials, and she fit them all in. There ends up being like 16 of them. So anyway, this is how you're going to be doing your forever cards all year, and that you're going to have titles on one side, you're going to have content on the other, so that way you can study. You can see a title and you can study that title. Let me make myself small because there's a little bit of a delay, and that's kind of annoying, at least to me, if not to you. Okay. Anybody have any questions on forever cards or composition books if you already know what you're doing? This isn't homework yet. We're going to be going over it more in detail on Thursday, but as I talk through logistics, if you guys have pictures of here, how to start your comp books, and here, how to start your notes as far as the first page, you'll be ready to go. Any questions on forever cards? Just unmute yourself. If you don't know, I think it's a double tap on the space bar or Alt-A. Oh, you guys are quiet. Okay. So as you're... oh, go ahead.
So... the trig identities and unit circle is going to go on a forever card, and we're writing it in our notebooks?
Yes, forever cards are usually just little snippets from the notes. And so we take notes in class, but the really important ideas I try to narrow down and summarize in ways that you can like study, memorize, flip through, kind of like a Quizlet, but there is brain research about actually writing and actually like moving as you're studying. So that's why I still have you take like this version and not just study them from your notes. But Priyanka, basically it's weird because there are no other notes, but usually in class I'm like, forever card, draw a box around it, and you're going to copy it down in your own time. But for this, for the pre-cal stuff, we're just kind of narrowing down what you did in your whole summer packet, and I'm not making you write your summer packet content about logarithms and exponentials. We're not putting that in our notes, we're just putting the forever cards. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this time it's weird, but from here on out, it's really just, we're going. That's important. Put a box around it. Forever card. Okay. So as you guys, yeah. Any other questions? Did I miss anyone?
Do the forever cards have to be colored, or can they be white?
It's up to you. I'm not going to necessarily knock you down, Sophia. So if you like the white ones, my advice would be to do your own color coding, just because there's also brain research that if your brain can attach like different content or different concepts to different colors, a lot of people memorize better that way. But it's up to you, kid. My advice is just the colored ones. Well, it's technically what I require, but you're okay if you got white. Does that make sense?
Okay, yeah, thank you.
But my strong advice is make sure it's on some sort of ring. Otherwise, you're going to lose them. Poor Salma last year had a little baggie, and it was rough. Okay, as you guys are taking notes, starting your comp book, and reviewing the unit circle, which is on the quiz, quick rundown of logistics. And if I get to something you don't understand, let me know. The nice thing is, really quickly, even though I am going to send some of you that purchase code for WebAssign, you can still follow all the directions. It has the class code. You should still be able to join. So please be following these directions. If worst comes to worst, just go to the PDF. Yeah, if worst comes to worst, just go to the PDF so that you guys could be... Let's see, what you guys have to do. You had to put in my class key, and then you had to create an account with your Heritage email. Please, some people were trying to log in. I did not make accounts for all of you. You have to do it for yourself. Create an account, and then you should have gotten into your calculus class. So that's this middle one. The top one, join Google Classroom. For anyone who was at Heritage last year, super easy. Just throw in a new code, and most of you did it over the summer. If you're new to Heritage this year, it's a little weird, and you probably have to wait as far as like what to do right now. You might not have your Heritage Warriors email if you did not come on campus today. Mr. Williamson or Mrs. Cameron, I think she's your point person, they'll help you get that email. But the nice thing is I have this website that you do not need that email for. So Google Classroom, easy to join if you have a Heritage. Bless you. WebAssign, a little bit weird, but there's the class code. That's the first thing to enter when you go. If you guys have not yet accessed this, this is the PDF for all of your classes because it was a little confusing the way it was sent out. Remote is a little different than if you were on campus. For instance, period 7 is only on the B days, not on A days, whereas in normal school hours, it'll be every day for a shorter amount of time. So I wanted you guys to have that access. And then if you haven't yet gone here to the Zoom link, there's a couple reasons this is important. Number 1, you got to class. I'm so proud of you. But number 2, we're going to be checking our summer packets. But how many of you want to take pictures of every page of the summer packet? Put your hands down. That's annoying. So I'm going to have you guys, after you finish your quiz today, if there's time. Now remember, I have to make a quick switch from AB to BC this morning. So I can't necessarily, some of you tend to take longer on quizzes than others. I'm trying to get you in ASAP though, so you have as much time as you want to work on it. But if you don't get to get your summer packet checked by me today in class, just drop by this afternoon. I'm going to be here from 2 to 3:30 pretty much every day, just chilling. If no one's in there, I'll be working. If people are in there working with their mics off, I'll be working until they ask me a question. It's super chill. There's no like high pressure. It's just I'm available like after school. Just you guys can't come in my room, but I can see you on Zoom. So anyway, come by from 2 to 3:30 today if you don't get your summer packet checked because you run out of time. Or maybe just a few of you read that announcement and forgot the whole you were supposed to grade with a colored pen. So I should see pencil mark and pen mark as you go through your packet, not just pencil mark. And yes, you could have done it in black pen, not pencil. We've already been there, done that. Okay, so that's what the Zoom link information is. Now let's get to this morning's announcement. But before I totally transition, Alt-A or double spacebar, anything on this page. Oh, you guys, you did scroll down, right? You have your syllabus. There's a couple new things with like Zoom and whatnot. We talk about, or I talk about, we can talk more about the syllabus on Thursday, but I talk about like the, right now, AP College Board says we're going to have a normal exam, like the full thing, and like a paper one. That's what they're saying, so we'll see. That's Tuesday, May 4th. That's a long way away, and we all hope and pray we're back on campus and things are more normal by then. But I am planning on having a full-length AP as our final exam second semester, but you do not need to worry about that right now. And there are some things like with my Zoom Math Lab 0 period, I can't really give you donuts and coffee, but I can still have an early morning Wednesday Zoom where you can come in and ask me any questions you want and get your own donuts and coffee and we'll enjoy them kind of together, but not. It's so sad, I know. I'll owe you lots of donut holes by the time we come back. And then there's the math movement policy, pretty much just for your parents if they want it, but otherwise you guys are already in Calc AB. You don't really need that as long as you have your graphing calculator. And then you have your 2 forms to fill out. The condition of the textbooks, if you picked up a textbook from me yesterday, there's a book number. Please make sure you put that book number here and then that you answer some questions about it. And for those of you, well, for all of you, WebAssign does have an e-version of your textbook. So, you guys should see this when you log into WebAssign. You should go to your AP Calculus AB. You're not in those, you're in this. And when you go there, there is technically an assignment that was up. That was for anyone that logged in yesterday. You actually had practice questions you could play with. Literally, it was just practice questions you could play with. So it's free points. It's nothing that will count against you if you didn't do it. I guess if you want to do it by tonight, you can, but the quiz is pretty soon, so I don't know. But you guys do have an e-textbook on here. So for those of you, here it is. For those of you that are not in the States and can't come by and pick up your textbook, here you go. We got a version for you, and so that will help you guys out a lot. And homework is going to be a little different this year for pre-cal and for calculus, for everybody, in that I'm going to assign it like normal. It's from the book like normal. You're going to do it like normal in your homework spiral, but then you're going to input your answers in WebAssign. And then you're going to be able to like check your answers right away. And if you get it wrong, you can go like watch a little tutorial or get a couple more questions like it once you eventually do get it right, and make sure you get the idea of it. So it's a little bit more Khan Academy-ish in that it gives you immediate support on your homework, which is kind of cool. You still have Calc Chat. You guys are spoiled rotten. BC do not have Calc Chat. They have a different book, but you do still have Calc Chat. And of course there's Slater, etc. But as we all know, A, it's not perfect. B, it's not necessarily showing you all the steps. And C, just because you can write down what Calc Chat shows doesn't mean you get it. Anyway, all stuff for you guys to think about later. But for right now, there's a quiz that's going to pop up here any second. So let's go ahead and talk about WebAssign, because our goal today was to troubleshoot, was to make sure that you have the main ideas and the main topics. For me to tell you that there are some things that are going to come showing up in Google Classroom, like, hey, get that form in, hey, get that form, hey, let your parent do this form. AP Classroom and AP Course Contracts we're going to talk about on Thursday, so don't worry about that. Even though I might post an assignment up here, because you guys do have to technically do, Priyanka, you asked me this yesterday. I actually do have the information to give to you guys to sign up for your AP test class and sign the contract, because that is required at the beginning of the year. So I'll post that information online for you all. All right. With all of that, I think I did all the logistics. My question is, basically, for right now, is anybody not in WebAssign? I'm going to pause the recording. I'm going to get the chat over. I want to look at you guys all in the face. Is anybody not in WebAssign?